I spent 9 days in France and I wanted to make a video of some of the sights and things I did while I was there. Perhaps some of the things I did you might like to do too. I've also included some travel tips as well for you, covering Bordeaux, Cognac, tours, and finally Paris. Now, I'm glad I saw France in the order of the towns that I did. It made me appreciate each town even more. Now, when you arrive in Paris CDG Airport, I recommend taking the Le Bus to the Montparnasse train station. It takes the guesswork out of things when you're tired and you don't really know where you're going. If you're going to be traveling around France, you're either going to rent a car or take a lot of trains. I prefer to travel by train when on vacation. I don't like the stress of driving when I don't know where I'm going. Here's a tip for you. When taking a train, you can choose first or second class. Now, I try to choose first class when the difference is only a few dollars. You get better seats and sometimes you get free beverages. Choose the 2-seat or the duos. Last thing you want to do is get stuck in a cramped 4-seat arrangement with strangers. Tip number 1, getting around Bordeaux. Wear comfortable shoes. Oh, and get a pass for the tram. You can and should walk all over to explore, but at the end of the day, your feet will thank you as you hop on the tram and let it bring you to where you need to go. Uber is also affordable in Bordeaux.
Choose how many journeys you want or day pass. 10 journeys, 2 tickets.
No, just one. We can use both use it.
Alright. Select your payment, Euros or Visa or MasterCard. It doesn't take American Express.
Do you want that?
Just select your language. English, French. Buy a ticket, leave later for another date. We're going from there, and we're going to Cognac.
Tip number 2, where to stay. Well, we stayed at the Hilton Garden Inn. It's a few blocks from the train station and it has phenomenal breakfast buffet in the morning. And if you have gold or above status, you and a guest can eat for free. Tip number 3, wine and food. Wine comes before food, doesn't it? Well, most any place you go in Bordeaux, you can find great wine for a decent price. Sure, you probably already know this, but I'm telling you that you should try a lot of different wines while you're here, because when you get to Paris, things will cost almost double, if not more. Some restaurants offer plat du jour. It's usually made with locally sourced ingredients, reasonably priced, and delicious. You can't go wrong choosing this. Here's a tip for you. Do yourself a favor and seek out a local charcuterie and cheese shops and indulge in some of the best meats and cheeses you'll ever taste.
I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I haven't slept in about 30 hours, and I shouldn't be drinking wine, but maybe the cheese will pick me up. Either that or it'll give me gas. Really? This is the market. It is probably a 20-minute walk from the train station. So apparently they close at 2. But there's some cool restaurants that I wanted to check out, but it looks like it's has a cashless system, just like in some of the malls in Bangkok, where you charge your card and you don't give them cash, they swipe it for your food. So let's see what they got. We're closing anyway, so.
Outdoor seating is almost a certainty for most restaurants in Bordeaux. After sightseeing all day, relax in a cozy French pub. Tip number 4, just wander around. Sure, plan a few things that you absolutely have to see, of course, but for the rest of the time, don't get stuck with a super rigid schedule. We wandered around all over Bordeaux, and it seemed like around every corner was another awesome site or a piece of history that we would have missed if we would have stuck to our original schedule. Treat yourself to a small group wine tour. You'll learn some history of the chateaus you visit, see how the wines are made, and taste a few vintages too. A lot of local vineyards don't add sulfites to their wines, so if you're avoiding them, or a headache for that matter, look no further. Suntory Distillery owns Chateau Lagrange. They use the old wine barrels to age and mellow some of their whiskey in.
This is where we saw from the entrance in here. The balconies. And this is a good surprise.
So, yes, this is just to help you for this last tasting. So, just to explain you.
After the last winery and tasting, our tour group stopped and they treated us to a bottle of wine in this amazing view of the Chateau Le Grange.
Almost tastes like a Riesling.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, that's all I can think of right now.
Ducks are coming. Look at this little foie gras just here.
Oh, look at the little duckies.
So we're here for the Baron Otard Royal Castle tour, and then we get a tasting afterwards, so we'll see what it's all about. Those are the prices for the tours.
Governor's Lodge, and it was all restored, rebuilt by the grandfather of Francis I, so Le Comte. So this is the oldest room of the castle. It dates from the 12th century. It's the salamander, the favorite animal of Francis I, and he decided to make of this salamander, one of its symbols. The originals are on Francis I's tomb in Saint-Denis, next to Paris. So, here we are in the room that made the Baron Otard decided to buy the castle, and I will explain why. The first reason is the wall. This wall is between 2 and 3 meters large, all along the cellar. So you have a temperature here all along the year of 15 degrees. So in this cellar we put the oldest eau de vie of the Baron Otard brand. And so the youngest eau de vie in this cellar, you can see the Dame Jeanne, the big glass bottles. The youngest eau de vie is 60 years and the oldest one dates from 1820. So
Whoa, you can smell it.
Vapors, and so we call this smell la part des anges, the angel's share, to distill. The machine is an alambic charentais. It's obligatory in the rules of Cognac, and so you place your wine here in the boiler, when it passes through the swan's neck, through the wine heater. That you can produce a VSOP, very superior old pale. The VSOP is 4 years for the youngest eau de vie. After that, it's XO, extra old, so old cognac, and so it's 10 years for the youngest eau de vie. After that, there is no more category, no more quality. It's XO, 10 years and more. More than my car.
You sell your car and you buy a buckle.
Just on your right side, you can see these two big towers. It's the Saint-Jacques Gate. So at the 12th century, the city started to build a wall around the city to protect it. So here we are on one of our estates. We will visit two cellars. The one on our left side, not an activity anymore, only for the tour. So So you probably noticed that our stone factory have flowers. This is a tradition of our house. When a young cellar worker has done his first tour to place all the cask in it, his colleagues are rewarding you by placing these flowers. Because here everything is done by hand, by their arms, no machines. It's not allowed, we have explosive atmosphere here, so we can't use machines. The first row, you have lots of information regarding the batch. First information, the culture there, well, it's the ID card of this eau de vie. It's Grand Champagne, it's the area. So you have FB Fin Bois, PCH Petit Champagne, BD Bordeaux. Le Peu, it's one of our distilleries. We are always writing the name of the distiller or the distillery which made it. Light can disturb the flavors. Our goal is to use all this eau de vie slowly, with the time, according our needs.
1850.
The oldest one are from the beginning of the 1800s. If you look at the first shelf on the right, you have some eau de vie from 1815. But all this eau de vie, it's not a museum. I mean, we are still using it to create some of our cognacs. So of course, as this one are old one and exceptional, only to blend and create our old well. It is every day. A bit like for wine, we'll look first at the color, the smell, and finally very fruity and lots of spiciness. This cognac is sold today in Eastern Europe and all over the world. Western Europe, it's another cognac which is called fin de cognac. It's more smoother and rounder. This one is a bit more powerful.
Tours France is located mere minutes away from the Loire Valley. It's around 1 hour 40-minute train ride from Paris, so it's an easy day trip. There's lots of great places to eat in Tours as well as decently priced hotels. Check out my 2-star room walkthrough at the end of this video.
I can understand some things that are written down. But that's it.
So we're in Chez Gerard and Old Town Tours. They got some really spicy hot olives here. I don't know why. They just do. We're about to get a pizza. See how it is. I had to use Google Translate to describe that I wanted to try a cognac cocktail, one that wasn't too sweet. I recommend Google Translate app and offline maps if you're going to get here, because you'll find spots that no one speaks English at all. It may sound weird at first, but you can have them talk to you through it and you can communicate. I like the chateaus here in Tours. I like the Cognac, Hennessy, and the castle tour.
The first chateau I visited is in the town of Langeais. It's about a 30-minute train ride from the town of Tours. The train ticket to see Chateau costs around $16 US round trip. An entry into the Chateau Langeais costs around €9 per person.
From here, all the way to the end.
The castle, of course, is the unmissable site of interest here and a good place to start your visit. The castle has its origins in the 10th century, and the park behind the castle, you can still see part of the original castle. This is the oldest castle in France. During your visit, you can explore a good number of rooms furnished in the Renaissance style, as well as the gardens and park behind the castle. Like many chateaux in the region, the Chateau de Langeais was substantially rebuilt and remodeled in the 15th century, and most of what you see today dates back from the reconstruction that took place in the 1460s for King Louis XI. The suspension bridge across the Loire on the edge of town dates from the 19th century and is a good example of bridge engineering of the period, although it was rebuilt in the late 1940s after being destroyed in 1940 as a part of the war effort to stop the advance of the German army. There's also a section of the castle from the 10th century with a recreation of the medieval scaffolding.
Why can't we have this all for ourselves?
You can play chess in your treehouse. You know this is moving?
There are two churches of interest in Langeais: the Church of St. John the Baptist, built in the 11th, 12th centuries, but with several later modifications, and also the Church of St. Laurent in the Roman style, and also with origins to the 11th and 12th centuries.
We walked up here, we saw a sign that said picturesque. So that's what we did. You can see the castle and the church in the background from the vantage point.
The best way to get from Tours to Chenonceau is to take a train, which takes around 35 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on what train you take, and if you have to transfer to another train.
When leaving from the chateau, make sure, if you want to go back to Tours, to follow the directions the train's supposed to go and get on the right platform. You could be stuck here for the next train. So make sure to note the direction of the trains.
The cost is around 18 to 35 euro per round trip, and the trains run about every 2 hours. The entry fee costs around 15 euro per adult.
The creperie.
The Chateau de Chenonceau is a French chateau spanning the river Cher, near the small village in the central Loire Valley.
This is where you enter through if you buy your tickets in advance. You don't have to go in there. We want to go to the cellar, the wine tasting.
It is one of the best known chateaux of the Loire Valley. This estate of Chenonceau was first mentioned in the writing back in the 11th century.
We thought we would get here early, but rather there's already 3 tour buses ahead of us. And we got here like shortly after 9:30. Over there is the hedgerow maze. We'll go there later.
This castle also goes by another name, of the Ladies' Castle. It is because some great women influenced the architecture and development of the chateau over the years. Being that this chateau sits on the shores of the river Cher, this castle and bridge were one of only for miles that one could cross to the other side of the river. For this reason, one of the women that owned the chateau defended it from destruction during the war. The chateau is surrounded by beautiful landscape and well-manicured parks. In 1547, Henry II offered the chateau to his mistress as a gift. Diane de Poitiers became attached to the chateau in that she extended it along the river. 1914 to 1918, the chateau was transformed into a military hospital. Over 2,200 injured and disabled soldiers were treated here during the 4 years of World War I. wine cellar is open 10 to 12:30 if you don't make it in that time. And 1 to 5. And that's it. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Could we do a tasting, please?
Yes, which one do you want to taste?
All 4.
Sorry?
All 4? You have 4, right?
You can taste 3 different wine. It's $4.20 by person. Okay. Wait. No hablo español muy bien. Sí, solo un poco pequeño. Es porque hablo español con
The Hotel Boussard, second class hotel, but they have an excellent breakfast for €8 a person. No elevator, you must take the stairs. So if you have heavy luggage, that's on you. This is a room. It's quite small. It's a tiny LCD TV on the wall. Queen size bed. It's not that comfortable. 2 nights on it. Stands. There's a power outlet there. There's a small closet here for your things. You have to use this to be able to turn the power on. And the bathroom is here. Small. They have a towels. The shower is extremely small, but overall it's functional. Going across.
C'est la seule chose qui les intéresse. La loi leur sert simplement, encore une fois, d'alibi. car ils n'ont pas compris cette chose essentielle. C'est que la loi de Dieu est fait pour l'homme, et non pas l'homme pour la loi que le Seigneur leur amènera un jour. Oui, qui se soucie de cette femme? Il y a quelqu'un qui se soucie de cette femme, et le seul qui se soucie d'elle vraiment, c'est Jésus. C'est Jésus parce que lui, il sait celui qui a fait la croix. Et d'ailleurs, peut-être trouvez-vous étrange que lorsqu'on lui présente cette femme, il dit avec son doigt sur le sol. Mais son doigt, frères et sœurs, son doigt, c'est la doigt de Dieu, car Jésus est le Fils de Dieu, il est Dieu. Et le doigt de Dieu, nous nous rappelons que dans le livre de l'Exode, c'est ce doigt-là qui a écrit la loi. Et bien sûr, ce que nous connaissons, tu ne tueras pas, tu ne voleras pas, tu ne commettras pas d'adultère, tu ne convoiteras pas le bien de ton prochain. Oui, c'est le doigt de Dieu qui l'a écrit, Jésus le sait. Mais bien souvent, cette pierre, c'est celle qui retrouve notre propre péché pour le cacher. Et sauver la vie de la personne.
Cappuccino, where have you been all my life?
April 7th and there's flowers in bloom. Do they buy them or they plant them? Closed. Little park.